Well, as you know, I'm sure, today we begin this is the beginning of the new church year, the first Sunday of Advent. We're just a little bit ahead of the annual calendar. And the theme of watchful waiting, be alert, be awake, be watching, just watch, is a constant theme throughout this season of Advent. And it's a very appropriate theme because we're looking forward to the celebration of our Savior's birth, and it's just a good time to focus in on being prepared, being ready, be watchful, and not for the second coming of Jesus, not just to be prepared, to be ready, to be watchful. I was reading an article that appeared in a magazine a week or so ago, and the article was about Mary Chapin Carpenter, and most people just know her as Mary Carpenter. Is probably one of the most enduring singers, songwriters in the country, and in folk, both country music and folk music. She, in a 25-year career, I think she's had 15 albums that she's put out and sold millions and millions of copies of her songs, and also garnered 5 Grammy Awards. So she's very well known. Well, she writes in this article that in the year 2007, she was on tour, she was going about her business, she came back from tour, she got up one morning and her chest was in excruciating pain and she couldn't breathe, and ended up eventually in the hospital, eventually with a CAT scan, and found out that she had somehow acquired clots on her lungs and her life was really threatened. So after months in the hospital, she recovered, but she said it was during that time, it was like the darkest, dreariest, worst hour of her life. She said she couldn't sleep, she couldn't stay awake. She said she was depressed, she couldn't read, she couldn't listen to her own albums, she couldn't sing. And she said, but eventually she began to heal, and the message that she gave in this was just to try and live in the present. She said, through this experience, I was always out ahead of myself, I was always on tour, I was always alert, aware, but she said I was missing everything going on around me in my family. And she said what really triggered this for me was, I went to the store one day as I was recovering, and a wonderful young man simply asked me if I wanted a paper bag or a plastic bag for whatever it is that I had bought. And she said, I talked to him, and he said, then he turned to me and he said to me, just have a nice rest of your day. And she said, I looked at him and I knew he meant it. And she said, that just meant so much to me that I went out to my car and I cried. And she said, it just reinforced again, I'm moving so fast through life, I just need to slow down, live in the moment, and appreciate what I have, who I am, and where I am going. So my friends, let us live in the moment of this sacred season of Advent and really appreciate this time of preparation so we can fully enter into the celebration of the birth of our Savior.